but at the same time showing leadership in something that was devoid, in my opinion, for 8 years during the Obama administration. I mean, this is a rare sighting. Even George W., as friend of Israel as he was, never touched the Wailing Wall and never promised the Jews as much as Donald Trump is. This guy is truly deal maker in chief, in my opinion, this time around.
That is true. I am impressed. But do you think it's true that he says one thing and does another as well? Or is he going to actually follow up and follow through?
I believe he's going to follow through. I know people, are a little skittish, just thinking that this is all a show. But, Donald Trump strikes me as a person that, one, doesn't like to lose. And I just can't see him just being in this position. Either people say that he doesn't want to be in the presidency and he doesn't have the heart for it anymore. He's going to step down. I just don't see this as being a quality of Donald Trump that he has buyer's remorse. Like, he got in, now the job's too tough, too strenuous. He doesn't want to follow through. It just doesn't seem like anything that I've ever read about Trump. And if you've read any of his books, this guy really has the winning philosophy.
No, that's true. I agree. So hopefully he will, because we voted for him. So let's see him make a change.
We're fingers crossed, and, we're watching.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you listening. And where do you listen to For the People mainly?
I listen out of Idaho.
Out of Idaho. Okay. Well, you guys have great spuds out there. Thank you very much.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much, Mr. Allen.
No problem. My pleasure. Okay, Megan. Thanks so much. And our number, 813-423-TALK. If you'd like to weigh in, 813-423-TALK is the number. That was very, very fair. Good question. How this translates. And, all the talking heads and pundits from both sides are going to be talking about the trip, talking about how well he was received and the promises that he made and if he's going to follow through with all of this. And what I was most impressed with was the trip to Israel. Saudi Arabia is another story, but the trip to Israel just yesterday with Netanyahu about the two-state solution. There's concessions that are already being made, allowing the Palestinians to actually build buildings where, it's been very contentious. It's been all over land, the Golan Heights, etc., the West Bank. It's been really tough for these people to coexist, but now they're allowing more Palestinians to come into Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, etc., for work, opening up, being a little bit more graceful in these ways and accepting, and there is a glimmer of hope there. And I think we should pray for it. And if, again, this deal maker and president-in-chief, as I put him, that's what he's done his whole life, and he can bring these people together and be smart about it, put together practical, obtainable goals, and get people around the table, the right people, to be able to sign these things and desire peace and prosperity for both peoples. It would be great for the Palestinians. It'd be great for the Jews. It would be a great role model to show other people and other civilizations, cultures that, we can live side by side in harmony, but we have to respect each other. And respect, I think, is something that, unfortunately, doesn't take place. People don't respect other people's opinions or their thoughts, and they instantly throw rocks and stones and want to kill you, if you don't subscribe to their thoughts. And, that's the primitive part probably of humanity. And I don't want to get all psychological on you, but, it is what it is. But we're hopeful, because the Middle East certainly needs peace, and the world at that needs peace as well. By the way, this is very interesting and probably won't surprise a lot of our listeners here at For the People, but did you hear about Moody's downgrade? Well, Moody's downgrades China and warns of the fading financial strength that they were boasting. Moody's Investor Services downgraded China's credit rating today for the first time in nearly 30 years, 3 decades, folks, saying it expects the financial strength of the economy will erode in coming years. Maybe you've heard about a lot of the cities and building complexes over in China where they're ghost cities. They're ghost towns. Nobody lives there. Actually, the founder of this broadcast was invited by the Chinese government to actually go over there. No kidding. To actually live, put his wife up there, and remember, and talk about how great China is and roll out the red carpet. But very dodgy, very shady, cooking the currency. There's such corruption over there in China, it's not even funny. No wonder they chose their neighbor, North Korea, to feed them, help them. But China did it to themselves. And hopefully, maybe they'll get on the straight and narrow. But this downgrade, folks, reflects Moody's expectation that China's financial strength is going to erode and the economy-wide debt continues to rise as the potential growth slows. And the rating agency says in a statement changing its outlook for China to stable from negative. And then Chinese finance ministry said that the downgrade, Moody first for the country since 1989, overestimated the risk to the economy and was based on inappropriate methodology. This is what China's saying. Moody's not going to downgrade them for some myth or something like that with the changing outlook. They've been cooking the books. It's overinflating the numbers, and their currency is going to take a big hit for it. They've been doing this stuff for years. The Chinese government manipulating, taking intellectual property, rebuilding iPhones and electronics, things that are over here, weaponry, all sorts of types of things to use against us that has hurt us, crippled us, and in many ways enslaved us. And thanks to the free traders that brought us GATT and NAFTA, Bill Clinton, thank you so much, and so many of his folks got us into this quagmire. And that's going to be an interesting thing to tackle, but Trump has been the only one to really articulate it in a real meaningful way with a world stage. So we'll see how trade goes with this new pact, this new agreement that's to be passed and to be heard soon. But first, we're going to have to get the budget passed. It seems like Paul Ryan and President and the White House all trying to work on putting together something that's going to actually work for the American people and perhaps for a long time, making a tax structure easy for people, or should we say easier, to be able to pay their taxes. Now, in a layman's terms, I would basically say that would be great if we have more jobs and more money coming in. It'll be so much easier for those that have not been able to pay taxes, that have had to fly under the radar, and that is tens of millions of people that live in this country do not pay taxes. Did you know that? And a lot of them, they claim the reason they don't pay the taxes is because they don't have the money to do it. It keeps them off welfare. But they literally would like to be able to pay the taxes, but they can't. And so that's understood. So this new taxes and the stimulus package is supposed to stimulate more growth into the economy and grow it so people are able to do a lot more with what they have. And that would be great. But we don't want to just stay at the status quo, and that's where we've been. The growth has been anemic. And we need some help out there. We need a kickstart, don't we, folks? Middle America knows that better than anybody, but it's not just Middle America. It's also a lot of the inner cities. A lot of the cities, people do not get paid nearly what they need to survive. Just living paycheck to paycheck is not the way it was supposed to be, folks. Not the way it was supposed to be. There was a time where companies actually rewarded their folks for a job well done. Where quotas were met, people got bonuses, but now a lot of companies that we hear of all the time, find out that they, tell them to wait before cashing their paycheck. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Or this one is a prevailing one, and this is more commonplace, where you get paid for 8 hours, but you actually have to work 12 hours. Or you're supposed to be able to legally take an hour lunch break, and what happens? You don't have a lunch break. You're lucky to be able to even microwave or use the toilet, or you get fired. Or here's another one. You're pregnant. Oh, how many weeks of maternity leave? Oh, your job may not be here. You might be back next week or 2 weeks from now. Oh yeah, that is played. Certainly would be calling the Civil Rights Division or something, or finding an attorney to actually protect you. But they play these games all the time, and you're replaceable. You're a number for a lot of these companies, and it wasn't always that way. But the consolidation of companies and greed, and because they have to crack the nut for their investors, this is the way that they work people. And you're just a number. That's why I tell people, educate yourself. Find out where technology is going. Learn computer language. Take night courses. Medical billing. Find stuff that pays really well after learning it. Find a trade that pays, that's in demand, and learn it now. And it's never too late, no matter how old you are, to get into something. And there's plenty of courses that you can take on your computer at home at night, even when people are sleeping. You may want to be sleeping yourself, but if you want to better yourself, these are the things that you have to do to get ahead. And if you're getting older, my word to you is something that I learned many years ago from my dad, was to make yourself irreplaceable. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. You want to be able to do a lot more than that. So you want to be relevant, not a relic. So if you can't email, you don't know how to email, you don't know how to get on Facebook or social media, learn. Find somebody young to teach you that knows how to do this so you can become savvy in all of this stuff. You say, yeah, I don't need it. You would be impressed to find out how glad you were to reconnect with your classmates or the people that you thought may have died, to find out they have a whole family and they have, 10 kids here and 5 grandkids there, and you reconnect with them. And you can do that over social media. There's good benefits to having it, and to search people out and to find people. It's better than the yellow pages or the white pages. And that's what people use. So get yourself into the now in 2017, and you can be hip too. No matter how old you are. There's a lot of hip grandmas out there, I'm telling you, doing Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter. Come on, Donald Trump's in his 70s. I know people in their 90s that are Facebooking me around the country, and also putting solar roofs on their house, and you know who you are, flyover country. God bless you. You like climbing mountains, or you ever think about climbing mountains? Been a lot of movies shot about movies. I love the movie. You may want to look it up if you're looking for a great movie of mountain climbing and such, and the heroics that go along with it and the dangers. Great storyline. It's called Vertical Limit. You got to check it out. It's really cool. What's not cool is there were bodies found of 4 climbers that turned up inside a tent at the highest camp on Mount Everest, now raising the death toll this climbing season to 10. It's the latest disaster at the world's highest mountain, according to officials announced today. The bodies were found by a team of Sherpa rescuers who were there to recover the bodies, and some mountaineers who died over the weekend. According to the tourism official, Amin Dakol, said the 4 climbers may have died from carbon monoxide poisoning after turning on stoves inside the tent without sufficient ventilation, according to Reuters news agency, and officials did not immediately reveal their identities of the dead climbers. But the bodies were at Camp 4 at South, located 26.247 feet, which is the last camp before climbers make the summit attempt. And then any recovery after that would require many Sherpas who have to bring in the bodies. I think I'm sounding that for Sherpas, right? Sherpas. There it is. And they have to bring the bodies down to Camp 2 from where they can be winched by helicopter to wherever they need to go. But 6 climbers already died this year trying to reach Everest's 29,035-foot summit. Unbelievable. God bless them. A lot of people, they got to have that mountaintop experience, Rocky Mountain High. That's a little bit higher than the Rocky Mountains, I got to tell you.